Hello, my name's Don Fisher. I work for Emergency Response Solutions. I'm the Online Training Programs Manager. Today we're at the Kansas City Assembly Plant working with the plant emergency response team. We're going to go over a scenario that happened here at this plant several years ago. We're here with members of the plant emergency response team, and they're going to describe their positions and their roles. What's your name?
Reed Sargent.
And what was your role, Reed?
I was the initial ERT on scene, so I assumed the roles of the incident commander.
And?
My name's Pat Hayes. I was the incident commander.
Kirk Friels, I was the RTO.
And my name's Scott Pyle, and I was patient packaging and rigging.
Reed, could you please describe to me what the scenario was that happened up here on the roof?
That day, we had a lot of contractors working up here doing cutting and welding. They had standby fire watch by our security folks. The contractors went on break. Consequently, the fire watch guy got it to a point where he could take a break. He was sitting under a piece of ductwork that he assumed would be somewhat supported. It was a hot day. He was looking for a shady spot. And for no reason at all, this piece of ductwork slipped down and come down on him. I didn't see that personally, but that's the scenario I got when I got here. They were in the process of trying to package him. They had him down on a backboard, but they had yet to figure out how to get him off his high roof.
What I understand is there was a large group of people standing up here along with security, and you were the first arriving emergency response team member. What did you do?
Well, I looked the scene over and realized, yeah, we got people away from this piece of ductwork, and they put a come along on it and a strap to help support it so it couldn't come any further, hurt anybody else. The ERT had been called, and knowing the area up here, I knew it was hard to get anybody off of this roof. And it was shortly after that, the fire department had showed up. They'd been called, and their chief had come up, and then discussions on how to transport this guy started.
And who was the next arriving ERT member?
There was 2 or 3 other ERTs showing up, and then Pat Hayes, our coordinator, showed up. And I explained to him where we was at. Fire department was still trying to discuss how to get him off, and we were trying to explain to him we know how to get him off. We have a rope team on site and a plan in place.
After Reed transferred command to you, could you tell me what happened?
Yeah, we got all of our equipment up on the roof, and then I began to develop a plan to get him off. The fire department didn't really have the resources to do that job. We had the ability to take him off the flat roof, but we had a better area in here that I thought we could get him out easier. There were more options to rig, so we took him through the inside of the plant down a level to the elevator. Everybody was trained and everybody fit into the plan pretty seamlessly. We just made assignments and people fell into those assignments, and it was a pretty complex rescue, but everybody got going on their part of the task, and we were able to do it pretty quickly once we started.
How long did this whole operation take?
I want to say we had him from the time we packaged him till the time we got him to the ambulance was 20 minutes.
Kirk, could you tell me what you did as the rescue team officer?
Well, we had to establish a place to get our patient down from this level down to the floor down there where we had the gurney waiting. So we had to establish anchor points and get a rope team going and get all of our ropes deployed, and we also had to fix a bridle on our Stokes basket. Scott Pyle is the one that we assigned to that. He's well versed in that, so a lot of experience, so we had a pretty good team up here.
What kind of anchor points did you use?
Well, there's an existing 6,000 pound, I believe it was, anchor point crane, bridge crane there in place. So we utilized that. It was right over a open hole to go down to the lower floor.
Did you use manufactured slings or did you use webbing?
We used webbing. Yeah, I just like the webbing better. We can adapt it to any purpose.
Were there any problems that you encountered with your rigging operation?
The tight spaces was the biggest thing because the patient was rather good size, and just getting maneuvering around was the hardest part in the tight quarters that we had to work with.
Okay, Scott, you were assigned to rigging. Can you please tell me what your team did?
Yeah, when I arrived on scene, they had Alf packaged in the Stokes basket. We put the bridle on the Stokes basket, rigged to the overhead crane as our overhead anchor points, and proceeded to lower him. It was a difficult rigging job, just simply due to the fact that Alf's a relatively large person. He was, larger than the Stokes basket, so the bridle was very uncomfortable to his injured right shoulder. He complained a little bit about that, and when we talked to him about it and said, this is the best we can do for you, it really seemed to calm him down. And things went incredibly smoothly as we went through it.
Tell me about his demeanor. How did he feel once he realized that it was the plant ERT that was going to do the removal?
Alf's been involved in our training classes before, so I think once he saw the guys were on scene and the guys were handling it very professionally, Alf he was agitated a bit because of the uncomfortableness with the Stokes basket and the bridle. But once we spoke to him a little bit and calmed him down, everything went, like I said, just as smooth as could be. I think he really became very comfortable with the fact that we were handling it the way we were.
I know these incidents are rare and that you guys have trained a lot. Tell me about what it was like to be in a real situation and not just a training situation.
Well, it's amazing because you really rely on the training. Everything comes back to you very easily. The guys that were there, it was a very, very comfortable situation. It's a bit chaotic at the beginning, I think, because it's real, it's scary. Someone's truly hurt, and we're in a very, very, an emergency situation. So I think once we established command, we started filling our roles, and guys started taking charge of just doing their small part of each individual thing. It came together in the team like it's supposed to, and it was, went incredibly smoothly.
I understand at one point you just felt like the whole thing went really well.
Yeah. Once we were there, rigged, everything was set up, and we started doing our double check to make sure that that things were the way they were, and we were getting ready to go live. And actually pick him up and take him over the hole. As I looked around, I'm on my knees right there next to him, making sure that the packaging and everything's right. I looked around, incident command, RTO, the guys on main and belay. I look and I see the guys that I feel like are in the spots where they needed to be, and I just a calm came over me, and I'm like, what, this is as good as it's going to get, man, and let's do it.
Okay. Okay, I'd just like to ask you guys to add one more comment. If you could tell other emergency response teams something that you learned from this incident, what would it be?
Well, one of the things, most of the Ford plants are located in somewhat small municipalities, and ahead of time work with your local fire department, so when one of these incidences comes up, you've got a working relationship with these gentlemen ahead of time, so they know our capabilities, and chances are ours are further ahead of theirs as far as rescue training on high angle especially.
Okay, Pat?
A lot of us hope that these incidents are never going to happen, but they do happen. We've had a number of them over the years, and what's important is to have the training and the equipment and be prepared to respond when they do.
Kirk?
I think that whenever we train, us as a group, we always train seriously. We don't mess around. Everybody knows their roles, and it's a serious matter. So when an actual incident like this came up, everybody knew their roles, and there was no question on what was expected of you.
Scott?
I think the biggest thing that I learned is, absolutely trust the people that are a part of your team. We came together as a team. Obviously, we train as a team, and as Kirk said, train seriously, and when it comes time to put your skills into use, trust the guys that are around you, and you'll be successful.
Okay, I'd like to thank the plant emergency response team. Don Fisher, Emergency Response Solutions, Kansas City.